Hi everybody, Veronica. I saw a video of somebody who went through the Asperger syndromes for women. It's Willow Hope. There's a list from the site helpforaspergers.com, number 4, not the spelling, and the link will be in the description. But I thought that was really kind of a cool thing to do, is go through the list and kind of show how it related to herself. So I wanted to do that. I am currently self-diagnosed, seeking an official evaluation, but I don't know how easy that will be where I live. So yeah, there's probably be 4 parts, one for each section of the list. So the first one is appearance and personal habits. So the first one is dresses comfortably due to sensory issues and practicality. And I thought this was really interesting, this first one. And so I'll probably get stuck here for a little bit. But this has always been kind of an issue. Not just the dressing comfortably, but like tags and stuff have been a big deal. My mom told me that when I was little. I could not stand tags in the back of my shirts or the ones on the side on my underwear. They had to be cut out, and she said it was like I would have an overreaction to the tags, that I just wanted to get them out as quickly as possible, or I want to like take my shirt off and stuff. And I still have problems with tags, certain types of tags. Also, I don't like lace. I can't stand lace. It drives me insane. And always been a jeans and t-shirt kind of person. I kind of changed that a little bit for a while when I went through sort of a goth phase, I guess you could call it that. But I still wore a lot of slightly more practical, especially like the pants and stuff. I tried to, because I liked being able to do stuff, just seemed weird not to be able to. So I don't like tight in my underarms. I just can't stand that. I will, on shirts like this that aren't quite t-shirts, they're more the girls types, or the ones where they're higher up like this, I will pull until often the stitches pop, or sometimes I've even ripped the shirt just because I cannot deal with that. Cotton has to be cotton. I don't really like other materials that much. I have a pair of stretch jeans. Jeans are the hardest things because girls they're often the stretch, which is the dual material, like the spandex and cotton, and I don't really like that. Like, I have one pair that they're pretty nice, so I'll wear them to semi-nice functions, but it feels like there's little pokey things inside of it all over my legs, and I can't stand that at all. Oh yeah, it's funny because on Thursday I tried to go bra shopping, and this was almost impossible. Not partially because of initial choice overload. Walk in, it was a store in the mall, and it was just like, there's so many different kinds. Where do I even start? And then they didn't have my band size at all anyway. But when I tried others, it's like almost all of them are made out of nylon, and I don't like that. And the ones that actually fit fairly nice, then they had little lacy things on the straps, and it was like, nope, can't deal with this. And so I tried on a number of them, and towards the end, after about an hour, I guess, I was in the dressing room, and yeah, it was kind of close to, I was pretty much going to cry, and kind of just went into shutdown to keep that from happening, because it was just annoying to have to try all these on, and none of them were comfortable at all. So and that's always been an issue. I've wore cotton preteen bras until like this last year. So, which I'm 28, so it was, quite a long time. They were the only ones that were comfortable, so I didn't really see the point. Second one, next item is will not spend much time on grooming and hair. Hairstyles usually have to be wash and wear. Can be quite happy not grooming at all at times. This is pretty true and pretty basic. I don't wear any makeup. I have a lip balm chapstick. I'm not sure if it's a stim or just a obsession, but I don't like being without it, and so I'm constantly putting chapstick on. So I did, when I went through the goth phase, do the heavy eyeliner and lipstick and mascara, but that was it. Like, there's one time I've worn foundation and I didn't put it on. I let my friends do it for me because it was a formal event and they wanted to do it, so I let them. It wasn't because I actually really wanted to put the foundation. It was just, that they like it and they seem happy to make me up, so I'll let them do that to me. As you can see, I'm like super nervous about this. So I'm actually, I don't know if you can kind of see my arms moving, but I'm like fidgeting with my hands. Hardcore. I should get, I have I don't know if it's there, had a rabbit skin that is soft and fuzzy, and I like to pet it. It helps me. It's buried under my messy table. So hair, I've almost always worn in a ponytail, almost exclusively for most of my life that I can recall. I did have really super short hair, like guy style, spiked up. Like I had this gel stuff that I would just run my fingers through to spike it, and so I did that, and I didn't really like the way it looked. At certain points, like, it would get shaggy if it was too long, and that just looks weird. But I did like that it was out of my face and out of the way, and I didn't have to do anything with it, especially when it was really short, and I would get out of the shower and be like, you just put your fingers through it and then we're done. And like, I really liked that. But I don't really care for the way it looks on me anymore. I don't like my hair in my face. I'm a tucker when I don't have a ponytail, like constantly tucking my hair behind my ears. I did wear my hair down and I would straighten it, but that was like the extent of any kind of hair styling stuff. I don't see the point in it, and it's time consuming, and just, I don't care. I just really don't care. Can be quite happy not grooming at all. This, like I said, I don't care about the makeup and all of that stuff, but like showering is, I hate not going without a shower. It helps wake me up, and I feel better. It's usually only if I'm like if I'm sick or super funk, like, or depressed. But even then, I still make an attempt. I still, like, because of work, I still shower, and it does help. So, okay, next item is eccentric personality may be reflected in appearance. I don't know that I've ever had anybody call me eccentric, or I'm not really sure if this one, how much it applies. I've been called odd or weird, and quirky. I get quirky quite a bit. People call me quirky. Probably, reflected in appearance. When I went through the boy stage, I guess I was tomboy more than quirky, but then, had the goth, and then kind of moved out to emo, and then I kind of, like, because of spending time with certain people, I flipped, like, completely and kind of dressed more preppy. I still like wearing black a lot. I think it looks good on me, but I also like really, really bright colors and things with sparkles on them and stuff. So I guess it's usually plain t-shirts and shorts and jeans or whatever, but it can be kind of, it's not as quirky as I guess some people I've seen. Is youthful for her age in looks, dress, behavior, and tastes. A lot of people are often surprised when I tell them how old I am, because they think I'm younger, and that's been the rule for quite a long time. I have 2 younger sisters, and one of them's fairly close in age to me, and a lot of people would always assume that she was the older one. yeah, people are usually surprised. And now, my littlest sister is 19. Can't remember how old she is. It's terrible. She's 19, and sometimes people think that I'm younger than her. I don't know if you can really see, but I have gray hair, and I think that's the only thing that possibly gives away the fact that I'm older than I look. So yeah, a lot of people think that I was getting mistaken for a high schooler, like all the way mid-20s. People were still thinking I was like a senior in high school, which is sort of, I don't know, wasn't bothersome, but was, because the people tend not to take you seriously if they think you're younger. But at the same time, it's like, well, maybe when I'm older I'll still look young, so that's a bonus. Just try to look at it that way, I guess. Dress, obviously I like the bright colors, and I like the sparkly stuff, and I like having like designs on them, particularly the butterflies. And they did dragonflies, but I've never seen shirts with dragonflies on them, sadly. So I like that. I if I could shop in the kids section, like if I was tiny enough to shop there, I probably would, because I like the girls section with the clothes. They always have cool, pretty designs. I like that a lot. Behavior, I don't, in certain times, yeah, most of the time I keep kind of to myself, and I try to stay really low key and not stand out, but there's sometimes when I notice that, not usually in the middle of it, but later I'll notice that other people weren't acting a certain way and I was, giggling at certain things, or laughing, or being very, like, splashing in the water, or laughing when on the trampoline, stuff like that. Just seems a lot more childlike, I guess. Tastes, probably, I'm not really sure if this is like for dress. I guess it would be, but yeah. Usually a little more expressive in face and gesture than male counterparts. I only actually know one other person, that I know for sure has Asperger's, and he's my cousin, but he's actually almost overly expressive, like big movements, and like just, he seems more, I haven't really paid attention. I'll have to do that next time. So I don't actually know how I compare to a male with Asperger's. So next was, may have many androgynous traits despite an outwardly feminine appearance, thinks of herself as half male, half female. I don't really know about that. But yeah, I've never really like tried. I don't feel a particular attachment, I suppose. Like, I get along really well with guys, but I'm a girl, so I'm not really sure if this is, I guess, kind of androgynous. I don't know. May not have a strong sense of identity and can be very chameleon-like, especially before diagnosis. This is extremely true. I had a nickname when I was little, like in elementary school. My mom and those around me used to call me the Great Imitator, which is ironic. So it was, if I hear an accent or characters, like I can imitate the sounds, and I would take on personalities from shows I was watching or whatever. Maybe not the whole personality, but traits of it, and just kind of like imitate it. So my mom had to often, remind me, like, you're acting like this person, you need to stop. So, and I do that in groups of people that I spend a lot of time with. When I was up at Bible college, I did this with my roommate and with my group of friends, like, would take on their gestures and traits and manner of speaking. It was just, I think, just an attempt to fit in. I'm not really sure. So yeah, I've never really felt like I had a place, or like I knew who I was. It was just sort of like taking all of these little pieces from different characters and people and trying to like fit them together. Obviously, I think there are baseline stuff that's me, but I don't, especially lately, having read up a ton on Asperger's, that, and just kind of like looking back and seeing how much stuff is me, and how much of it is just the imitating and chameleon kind of thing. So it's very easy for me to blend in places. I find that it's almost too easy, like scarily easy for me to just switch and be whatever the group around me is being like, if there's a general kind of atmosphere, I guess. So, if there's a church is the only place that it's sometimes difficult for me, because there are sometimes a lot of social norms or whatever that go on there that I don't think there should be, being it's church. And so I tend to just be quiet, kind of. But in other situations, it's, if the whole group is being gregarious, it's easy for me to kind of put that on and be gregarious. If like the group tends to be more quiet, then it's easier to be more reserved, I guess. I have problems with, I shouldn't say quiet sometimes, because when I do talk, sometimes I have trouble with volume control. I don't always realize I'm talking as loud as I am, which I hope I'm talking loud enough through this, because that would be bad if I'm not. Okay, see, I'm like speaking really super soft. Okay, enjoys reading and films as a retreat. Often sci-fi, fantasy, children's can have favorites which are a refuge. This is extremely true as a teenager. From the time I was 12 that I can remember. When I was little, I do remember reading some when I was little, and I liked being read to as well. But I know definitely during the preteen and teen years that I read like a lot. I was homeschooled, so there wasn't much social interaction anyway, which might be why I was never diagnosed or taken in for a diagnosis or anything like that. But yeah, we would go to the library like every week, and I would check out like 10 books and go through them, and they were usually sci-fi and fantasy, and occasionally not, but I didn't really have any interest in anything outside of those. So like I got really into reading Star Wars and Star Trek stuff. There wasn't as much good fantasy, especially young adults fantasy, when I was in my teen years, or fantasy I wanted to read, I guess. But I did do that a lot. I watched a lot of stuff too. I didn't really have favorites that I reread a lot, probably because I remembered things so well that it would stick, and so it was like it'd be years if I reread something, it would be years and years. And yeah, kids cartoons and movies, I still love those. Those are my preferred watching. I'm not really all that interested in a lot of the more grown-up stuff. Has stuff that I'm just not comfortable with. Superhero movies are about it, and occasionally fantasy if they're good. Like I like Lord of the Rings and stuff. Still haven't actually managed to read all the way through the books. Uses control as stress management, techniques, rules, discipline, rigid in certain habits which will contradict her seeming unconventionality. I think this is probably true. It's hard for me to tell. The routines are definitely, and habits are definitely something I have. They're not, as far as I can tell, they're not they don't interfere in any way. Like I have a routine before I go to bed that if I don't do it, I have trouble sleeping. I have a certain routine in the shower. Probably do use rules and discipline. But I don't know. I haven't really thought about that a whole lot. it does, having routine and rules and discipline helps with stress management, to prevent it more than like in the middle of it. But I guess that is probably true, because I do, in a chaotic situation, I like to be able to be like, stop, we need to do it this way. So I guess that is kind of a control issue to manage stress. And then the last one for this column is usually happiest at home or in other controlled environments. So this is extremely true. I hate leaving my house. Like, I hate it. It's so difficult for me when I'm already home, especially because I live out of town a little ways. So it's kind of like, I don't want to go anywhere. I work, 5 days a week, so that's easy. And church, and we have a social group, fellowship group, I guess you could call it, with the Bible study, and then another Bible study at the church. And I go to all of those, and like the fellowship group, we call them gospel community groups, and they're I'm kind of uncomfortable the first for it takes me a little bit, but once I'm there, especially if it's held like at the same place every single time, it's I become a lot more comfortable, and it's like I can kind of it's a lot easier being there. Familiar environments are always easier, and controlled environments I have problems in. Chaotic environments tend to stress me out a lot, which is probably the overstimulation issue. So yeah, that's the first part.